Hey, what's going on? So, this video is a little bit different. It's about living on rubber, okay? And so, what I mean is you live like in a trailer, or you live in a car, or you drive around for months at a time. And I guess there's nothing wrong with that. But this is one place I went to I thought was really cool. I think I'd stay here for a couple months. I don't know if I'd stay here and live here all the time. A lot of people do. But let's talk about some of the Marco concerns or environmental concerns. Plus, I'm going to give you some artwork here. There's a movie that I just watched. It was totally amazing. I loved it. It was called Into the Wild or The Wild. It was about this young kid who decided to walk across the country and he wanted to go to Alaska. And he actually, a lot of the movie was actually filmed right here at Slab City. This video is about Slab City and Salvation Mountain, and we're gonna try to relate it to Marco stuff, okay? With people living in, out in the country and in trailers, and we'll talk about formaldehyde and stuff like that and other pollutions. But anyways, real quick. Oh, by the way, the poor kid, he starves and dies at the end. He's only 23. It was a really good movie. I love that movie. I would give it a 10. I like movies that aren't Hollywood bullshit, But it was a good movie. So, anyways, let's go. So here we could see up along the mountain ridge here. Most people don't know that, but they see these little towers how they're intricately placed. Well, guess what? This site used to be a government site, and it used to blow shit up here. Okay, a lot of stuff. So it's probably completely contaminated. These people find bullet shells, all kind of stuff out here, and I'm quite sure that if you had a Geiger counter, it'd be ticking. Okay, but so these things here are radio towers, but they're small towers which resemble an array, which could be some type of weather modification or some type of system like we have up in Alaska, where they have hundreds of these things, and what they do is it heats the atmosphere and does all kind of crazy stuff. But anyway, so you will be exposed here a little bit. And here's a little close-up, and I don't even know what these photos are. They're just out of one of my files. I've taken over 1 million photos in the last 20 years, so this is one of my collections. So I'm kind of driving through here, and I'm thinking to myself, look at these trailers, like this trailer here. And they actually look like the old FEMA ones. And what happened with the FEMA ones, these people don't know, because, you'll see why. But a lot of the trailers that FEMA gave to people, especially during floods, like when the levee broke, and they moved people in trailers and all other places. Well, they found out that these trailers, the insulation used in them, outgassed, and it was a urea formaldehyde type insulation. So I would say in this case, these people live here. They probably don't have power, a lot of them. They probably don't have air conditioning, so they got open windows. So it's probably not so bad. But people did get sick in colder climates in these trailers. And then the government got rid of them real quick, and they're supposed to destroy them. But guess what they did? Yep, they sold them. Now here you can see people out that actually live here like to make artwork. They like to collect. There's garbage dumps around the area, and they collect garbage. And they kind of like this. They make art. Like here, you could actually see CO2 containers, and you've got bullets here. And this is stuff they dug up there because guess what? It was an old abandoned facility. Look at that. Bullets, cartridges, CO2 cartridges, and they probably dug this up. We're talking many miles of free land. You don't have to pay taxes here. It's called Slab City. Very cool. And if you're into the trailer thing and you're not, don't show up in a $100,000 trailer, okay? Don't do it, because these people don't have any money. So this isn't for you. Go to your little campground and plug your stuff in, and go buy some firewood, but this isn't like that. This is different. And you can see here, all these people are collecting stuff. They live in trailers. Now, this is probably not a Eufy trailer, because they kind of fixed it with wood. So this place here, I think, was called... we drove around the desert and found these places, and this one may have been called Little Jesus. Look at this. This looks like a miniature time machine. How cool is that? I mean, and they probably found all this stuff out in the desert, okay? They probably trespassing to get this stuff. And now this is crazy. Now, if you see these bottles here, and you can see a lot of these fence bottles. These bottles I don't know if you guys know this, but I got YouTube videos on this. Oh, by the way, I have a service called Call Marco with a question, and below I also have some links for some of my products. But if you call Marco with a question, it's basically for people who have questions about environmental issues in their homes, in their land. Is they live next to a dump? Is there mold in their house? Is there structural issues? Usually, any issue that you can't anybody else can solve, call me. And they'll prompt me. I believe I'm still only charging $29. You get 20 minutes. I might ask you for photos. You send them to me, man, I'll solve your problem. I'm a 95% guy or greater. So yes, I will solve your house problem, your house question, or your environmental issue. I'm not a doctor. Don't call me if you're sneezing and your fingernails turn purple. Well, you can tell me about that too. Anyways, so let's get back here. If I took my Geiger counter here, and I do have a couple Geiger counters, it would probably be hot, because a lot of these bottles were made with uranium. Okay, and remember the old days, uranium, they used back in the 1930s, actually had girls licking and painting clocks, and they all died. They all got sick. And then they actually didn't shut it down until the 80s. But these bottles, a lot of them are radioactive, okay? And this is kind of cool. You can see this is very cool stuff. And probably these people are going to be mad because I'm showing you pictures of their home. Quality control. I mean, where do they get that? This is a old, I think it's an abandoned government site where they used to test missiles, and probably, I don't know if you guys know, but they did shoot off over, I'd say 250 to 300 nuclear weapons on ground, above ground in this area or close to this area. This is very cool. These guys collected all these old test tube TVs, and they basically sit down and watch it. And I'll show you this photo here. You can see the television will not be revolutionized. Turn me on. I got kids to raise. Our values are your value. Real men feel nothing. Mental masturbating. That one's good. Democrats are evil. Republicans are evil. Dear God, no. Blah. It's very cool stuff. And so I did take a picture of this, a bunch of them. I thought it was pretty neat. You have the wrong opinion. Of course, everybody has a wrong opinion. Everyone's opinion is different, right? And so very cool. And so moving on, a lot of garbage, a lot of debris, very cool, a lot of artwork. And, why is it? Let's see what's going on here. And let's move on to another section. Let's go to here. So these people live down here. They have trailers that outgas. And I don't know, I guess if you are in a trailer and you're traveling around the country and you're going to stop at places, a couple things you might want. I know you can't afford a particle counter, but I would have a particle counter. And let me move this up here. A particle counter will tell you the air. If not, make sure you have a computer and you can get on what's called, this great site. It's called Null School, Earth Null School. And if you know how to maneuver it, it'll tell you the air, where the air is bad. So a lot of times when the air is bad, it could be from, from atmospheric disbursements, whatever. We're not going to get into all that crazy stuff, right? But it'll tell you, you can actually see the CO levels, the CO2 levels, the carbon monoxide levels, the particles. Now, you want to worry about particles that are 0.1 micron, 0.3, 0.5. These things get way down in the lungs. I call it cancer air. And so, for example, whenever the Sahara dust cloud comes down, you got to know the date of that. Don't be going to Florida, because that's all full of bad air. Or when there's fires, like in California, you don't want to be downstream unless the wind shifts. So you got to look at this stuff and don't be where the air is bad. So like here, I would go here, but I would still check the air. Now I would be okay here. Now you also have to have in your car a couple PPRs, like things you put on your face to help, clean the air. I'm not going to say the word because the last time I did that, they took my video down, so we're not going to get into all that, okay? And that's my buddy Jono. He travels with me when we go out of these places, and we do urban exploring. And this is pretty cool. And here's more jars and more bottles, and people make their own little homes out here. this is Slab City. Okay. Some people actually found vessels they lived in. I'd be really careful on those. There'll be a picture of a couple of those. Um, by the way, I have these. I'm shooting these photos with my cell phone on my computer, so they're not really good quality. But if you want better pictures, hey, call Marco with a question. I have a million photos. This is pretty cool. Looks like a. Let's see here. It's a doll with a brain. Let's see, I'll move the camera up. Okay, let's move it up a little bit. And this must be somebody who died. Kind of somebody's house. This is near. Oh, something happened here. Okay, this is near Salton Sea, and Salton Sea is pretty cool. Now we're getting all kind of. Oh, this was a place that was called, I think it was called West Satan. And we were going to go check it out, but Mr. Dog there came out at us. Very cool stuff. They like to take all kind of garbage. All welcome. So obviously we walked around. This is probably kind of cool today. This is kind of like when you see shoes hanging on telephone wires. Well, this is a tree. A tree that's got shoes. Let me back it up a little bit. There it is. VIP lounge. So nobody wants. I guess you're allowed to put fences up. There's no codes here. No, I don't. People pay any taxes. Oh, there's our little tree with all the tennis shoes. And that you can look at all their artwork, and if you understand things, you could understand what this means. What does one set of tennis shoes mean to all of them? Here's a little bit of a distance shot, and people come and live here. A really cool place to stay. There's a guy living in an underground bunker. Now that's okay. Probably not going to have a condensation issue, but hopefully he washed it. There's another one of these underground tanks. There's probably some kind of fuel tank or something they turned into a house. Anyways, so these photos now are kind of going into Salton Sea, which is pretty cool. It's near Palm Springs. And everything's abandoned there because, not everything, a lot of things are abandoned because when Palm Springs started doing their thing, they took all the people. And there's only one type of fish that lives in the Salton Sea, and they have fish die-outs because of oxygen levels. This fish can only live with so much oxygen, and it lives there. And I guess it's kind of cool, if you do go driving around, like I'd really been wanting to do this for a long time, get out of your van or your truck and go walk around and, bring some bicycles, and don't just go to campsites. Plug in, make a campfire, talk to the people next to you. Man, that ain't what you do. You got to go to places like this, check out the world. And there's these places are all over the country. You just got to find them. They're not going to be on the main strip. You definitely got to go off the main strip. You can't drive freeways. When I drive around, I stay off every freeway. I take all the dirt roads, and I'll have more videos like this. Most of my videos will be house issues. So every 5 or 10, look at that bee's nest. Every 5 or 10 videos, I'll try to incorporate one of my little trips and turn it into some kind of house thing. All right, so a couple things. Ready? You live in an old trailer. There's possibility of formaldehyde and outgassing and condensation issues. So it's okay it's not bad. If it's older, it's probably done. If it's not, you want to find out where it came from. If it's got the formaldehyde in it, then you want to, I don't know what you want to do, but open windows, maybe do a test. You can buy VOC tests. Two, you might want to have, your face protection. And then I think important thing also is if you can tap onto the internet and check out the air quality of the place you're going on windy days. Maybe you don't want to be hanging out in this desert when there's 3 weeks of high winds, because you're going to be breathing that glass. It's not good for your body. So always think about the air quality. And this will end my little video. So hey, thanks for coming on. Remember, call Marco with a question for your house problems. If you're looking for photos, give me a call. I can work something out too, or movies. Have a good day.